everybody? This one we're gonna do actually a little bit different. So if you guys saw the Rocket Camaro in my previous videos, which we shot, how long ago did we shoot that? 2 years ago?
Almost a year ago at Des Moines.
Okay, so about a year ago. No, it would be 2 years ago because last year there was nothing, right?
No, we did.
Oh, whatever. So
Des
we
Moines
shot
was
it
the
about
first
a
show.
year ago at Des Moines. So the Rocket Camaro, I'll put a link up there for you guys to check it out if you haven't already. But this is actually the Rocket Z, which is, I mean, what percentage are we on being done? It's this maiden voyage here
maiden voyage.
Nashville, Tennessee.
It's 95% done. There's still a little few tuning tweaks and a couple of things, but I mean, as far as being safe to drive, it's good.
We're there. So yeah, so we're gonna do like basically a walk around video of this car. So it'll be set up a little bit different than what we did last time. But yeah, we're just gonna go over the car, everything that was done to it, and just kind of learn the ins and outs of it. And so I guess first, Darren, what we'll start with is what year, what is it, and what did you start with?
So it's a 78 Datsun 280Z with a 3.4 liter 2JZ and a 6-speed transmission out of a Supra.
And then what year Supra is this out of?
I think the range is like 92 to 98. So it's the Mark IV Supra, so it's factory twin turbo Supras.
Okay. And you picked this up, I guess, were you looking for a Z, or did this happen to fall in you guys' hands?
This car started before the Camaro was even thought of. This car started before our Pro Touring line of wheels was ever conceived.
Okay.
So basically, when I started working for Rocket back in 2010, I had a 240Z with a turbo L28 in it. And I took David for a ride in it, and he loved it. And then he said, man, I had an old Z car back in college. He said, man, I want to get another one.
Right.
So shopped around and found one. It was a kind of mediocre built as far as safety goes, you know. But it was not set up to do what we're going to do with the car.
Right.
So we've gone through all new suspension, brakes, got drive shaft shop axles in it, drive shaft shop drive shaft, bigger rear end, fuel cell, some aero stuff. Just reliability and handling upgrades, and of course our wheels.
Right. And then for those who don't know, David, he's talking about David Coker, who owns
Rocket Racing Wheels. Yep, my boss.
So yeah, obviously check out their website if you guys are looking for, you know, basically like a wheel that the average person could get it into, right?
Oh yeah,
you would, you know, describe them as.
It's people that don't have money to spend on custom forged billet wheels. You know, we can offer a comparable performance at a fraction of the cost.
Right. Which is, you know, what a lot of people need. Not everyone has empty pockets to buy, like you said, those kinds of wheels. So I guess first off, I mean, I guess the main part we should go over is the power plant.
Okay.
I mean, that's first and foremost what you see, what you hear.
It's a 3.4 liter 2JZ. It's got a Garrett GTX 42 turbo on it. Has 2200 cc injectors running an E85. It's got all the tile wastegates and blow-off valves. Everything from AEM, so all the sensors are AEM, the computer's AEM, the dash is AEM. It made 810 horsepower on a Mustang dyno and 675 foot-pounds of torque at 34 pounds.
And we're not sure about the weight of the car yet.
No, I didn't have time to weigh it before we came, so tomorrow we'll find out the weight, and then Terry can add it to the video.
Yeah, we'll find out the weight, because obviously, as you can see here,
it's heavily reinforced cage work, strengthening, because these cars are notoriously like rust buckets, and they flex a lot and everything. So with the kind of power that we're making, like, you can fold this car in half if it was all stock. So it's full cage from the back strut towers all the way to right here.
Yeah, so you guys can see in the video, you know, how much reinforcement caging that they did add to it. Obviously you can see here, and you know, we have the hood off, obviously, so so you can see the amount of metalwork that went into it. And then how many, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but the PSI you said that you're running.
So 34 pounds.
34 pounds.
And then another thing that we've done that's a little bit different than a lot of people do with 2JZs is those are actually Nissan R35 coil packs out of the GTRs, because they actually handle boost very, very well. And so when we got this harness from Wiring Specialties, you know, they build it to spec of how you want it. So I tell them every sensor I've got, every type of different little plug and stuff, and they build you custom harness that shows up in the mail 3 weeks later, and it's plug and play.
Plug and play.
And works flawlessly compared to the old harness.
Okay. Radiator and cooling, what are you currently running?
Cooling system is not anything fancy. It's like a 185 thermostat in it, and then it just has a custom radiator.
Okay.
And then it's got braided lines, you know, in case you blow a head gasket, then, you know, instead of blowing something else apart, you probably split the radiator and tanks.
Right. Now, is this all custom? It looks like all.
Intercooler core and all that, and the piping to the turbos and all that, it's all, you know, custom built. Same thing with the exhaust. It's all 4-inch downpipe all the way back, and then at the driver or the passenger's footwell roughly, it drops to NASCAR 4-inch oval tubing all the way back for some extra ground clearance.
Favorite features of this car is the exhaust system. Since we're in the front end, I guess let's go over. So is this?
It's a Skillard is the company that makes it. Yep. Skillard makes all kinds of old Datsun Z stuff out of aluminum. So that's a aluminum splitter from Skillard, and then it's got the Type 2 air dam on it.
Okay.
And then we did the yellow laminate over the headlights, just like the Camaro.
Just like the Camaro, which is obviously the key feature.
And then we've got we deleted the master brake booster, so now it's got manual brakes on it.
Okay.
So, and I got that stuff from Chase Bays. It's a company down in Birmingham that does good stuff. So it does a lot of clean engine-based stuff. And since they were local, or somewhat local, I was like, I'll just get that stuff.
Just get that instead. And then obviously here we can see the shock towers.
So it's got the Techno Toy tuning weld-in camber plates, front and rear, and then everything suspension-wise is Techno Toy tuning.
Okay. And how, so obviously, well, you haven't, I guess I'm asking this question prematurely because you haven't really driven it that much to see how it handles this versus your Camaro, like in an autocross setting.
Well,
I guess we'll have
we know the Camaro's dialed in because we've had that car for, this will be, let's see, we had first year when it was pretty stockish, and then 2 years of wildness. So this will be the 4th year of having that car, and it's pretty much dialed in pretty close. I mean, it needs a few minor adjustments, but yeah, this is starting clean slate. I don't know how it's going to handle, so I'm going to be driving very carefully
and probably making adjustments along after every run, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Probably the first thing is just me try to get comfortable with the car. Once I get comfortable with it, then I can develop what I need to do to it.
And the front wheel hoods are?
They're 6-piston super lights, I think.
Okay. And then obviously your
wheels, the Rocket Attacks. So
Rocket Attacks, right? And these are the same ones and color that you run on the Camaro.
Yeah. Okay. The only difference that is the Camaro's 335 all the way around. This car is clearance for 315s, but we're running 250 18x10s right now.
On Yokohamas.
Yes.
So this is the first time with this tire.
Yep. Yeah. So the last 3 years I've been on BFGs. So these seem to be pretty fast. So we'll give them a shot and see how they do.
So as we walk on back, go into the interior. So there's a lot of here.
So
I'll kind of let you go over.
I mean, you got the odometer speedometer and tach that are kind of just there as fillers. They're not really doing a whole lot because most of your information is going to be on the AEM screen.
Yep.
Got the OMP race seats with the screw-off harnesses. Got a chase bays, hydraulic handbrake for the rear brakes. Got a battery kill switch up in the front. So that's the 7-inch carbon display from CD7, or from AEM. I mean, it's the CD7.
Okay.
It's got the telematics AEM box, or they call it the digital data something. I forgot exactly what it is, but basically it monitors G-forces, acceleration, has GPS, track overlays, all that fun stuff like that. EPOS electric power steering.
Okay.
So no hydraulic stuff up there. It's just turn the switch on and then you can rotate with one finger.
But yeah, my friend Eric, who I did actually video on his Mustang, has electric steering and he loves it. Like he thought.
Well, this has an adjustment knob screen, so you can adjust how strong the assist
you want
is.
It to be. Okay.
So you can turn it all the way down if you want it to be completely manual, like no assist whatsoever, or you can turn it all the way up to 10, and you could go road race with the finger.
Okay, depending on how it.
Right. Did that, so now it's serviceable too. You can see the aluminum actually has got the screws, so you can actually take the seats out and take that whole section out, kind of like the same way the Camaro is.
Right.
So if you need to service on something and don't have a jack to get it from the bottom side, you take that off and you're good to go.
Right. How's that? Well, again, a lot of those use this car for its purpose yet, but so you don't really know how hot it may be in there with the aluminum or anything like that.
If it's anything like the Camaro, if it's like LS Fest a couple years ago, I'm going to be dying in the heat.
So
it's a race car. Carpet.
Yeah, no carpet in there. So talk about, like, I guess these
the cage.
the cage and why.
The Top Garage Fabrication in Georgia, in Atlanta, did their Buford cage for us, and came across this stuff following kind of the drifting community. He builds a lot of Formula D cages and stuff like that, and does like spec, like Miata, E36, E46, like any kind of car cage, he can build it. And so I've started following him on Instagram, and I saw him do another 240Z, or it was not another one, but it was a 240Z that had the same style cage in it. So I shot him a DM and said, hey, how much do you charge the cages? And it was like $2,500 or something like that. And does a killer job. So we went to our door bars, because these cars are so narrow that if you have standard bars that don't go into the door panel at all, they're literally touching your seat, and so you have no impact safety zone.
Right. So these are, form and function.
Yes.
And then obviously the inner door panels are inlaid, so the door.
No sharp edges to slice your hands open on.
And the cage fits nicely into that pocket.
Right.
And then who fabricated those?
Big Oak Garage. So all the sheet metal work that's not like body work, Big Oak did.
Big Oak
so
did.
And
they did a lot of work on your
They
Camaro.
did everything on the Camaro, because they built the Camaro from the ground up, pretty much.
So, yeah. So, obviously you know those guys well.
Oh, yeah.
They do great work. So, rear end. So what kind of brake system? Obviously Will would.
4-piston, also Techno toy tuning.
Doesn't actually.
Robin's racing,
but we had it up on jack stands, and it's stiff.
It's got some pretty stiff springs.
Yeah, so there's not a lot. But again, we won't really know until tomorrow when we get it out on the track and see what's doing.
Right.
So and now here is the exhaust that you were talking about.
Right.
Runs out the rear. Again, It's
Another big thing of this car is having the fuel cell in the back versus having the stock tank. And so we're going with I think it's a 12-gallon ATL fuel cell.
yeah, we can lift it.
And we got the Radiant drop-in surge tank. So it's got two E85 compatible pumps that are good for like 600 horsepower apiece, and then it's got a lift pump that brings them up into the surge tank.
Right.
So even if I'm down at like sucking fumes, it'll pull that stuff up into the surge tank, and I always have fuel pressure.
Okay.
So it's sloshed around. It's got safety foam in it, and it's got.
Is it a fuel safe tank? I don't remember.
No, it's ATL.
ATL.
Yeah. So
okay.
ATL tank and feed lines with 6 AN return line. So it's a thirsty girl. She drinks a lot of fuel.
A lot of fuel. But you know, like you said, we were talking earlier. It's like a what'd you say? Like
garden hose. Yeah, when the turbo comes on, you might as well just get a hose and stick it in the intake. That's
she's essentially what
drinking
it's doing.
fuel.
It's guzzling fuel. Again, you can see the roll cage in the back, how it's integrated.
Oh yeah, and don't forget the Optimum battery.
Yeah, Optimum battery for sure.
Red top.
Red top. What I run in my truck and car. Yeah, so we got that. Basically, obviously the rear is gutted. Pretty much the interior is gutted. Just for, you know,
all the brake lines are all replaced because, I mean, when I started looking at them, I was like, oh, there's corrosion and rust on them. So every single line on this car has been replaced.
Okay.
So it's as safe as I think we can make it for now.
For now, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna. Obviously, I mean, first event.
Maybe in the future, the Jetsons will come out with that thing that when you get an impact instead of an airbag, it's that instant foam stuff, so you don't even move.
I don't know. That'll be expensive to clean up though all the time.
Yeah, it would.
Now we are here. Let's see. Today is Thursday, May 27th, and when I was talking to you this morning, they were literally still finishing up the wrap.
Yeah. So they finished the wrap on it at 1:45 this afternoon, and I hit the road at like 2:15.
Yep. And you were here.
They did a phenomenal job. If anyone needs a wrap company in Chattanooga, go see Print Tree Digital in Red Bank.
And again, I'll have all these links in the video so that you guys can check it out. So
this engine bay in this car is so big, you can almost put whatever you want in it.
So then I guess the question would be for people and myself, I guess, why did you choose this motor over all the others as an option?
Well, the biggest reason was having the motor already pretty much being done. That was the biggest factor. And I mean, and the 2JZ prices keep going up and up. And like a stock 2J, just block of a stock 2J with the turbos and intake manifold on it, they're going on eBay right now for like $6,500.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could go buy a LS motor for that. Yeah, half that. Junkyard, you can get one for $500.
Right.
So, I mean, and to stay with kind of the Japanese horsepower. I mean, and like honestly, people are like, oh, you know, it's an import motor, but I mean, a lot of like the drag race guys, you know, if they're like grudge racing or whatever, if someone sees a 2JZ, like, or you know, V8 power, they're like, they know that this motor, it can make some serious power. And with the right setup, I mean, if we downsize the turbo a little bit, we can make the same horsepower and come on sooner. Because the turbo technology just kept evolving.
Right.
And so the new generation Garrett turbos would step down to, I think it's a 68 millimeter compressor. This is a 75 millimeter.
Okay.
So you step down to the 68 millimeter and the power comes on like 700 RPM sooner and still makes about the same peak.
And you were saying this revs to what?
8,500.
Yeah, which is...
It's capable of 9, but we're safe at 85.
Yeah, we don't want to blow it up.
I can stand on the limit at 85 and not worry about it.
Okay, yeah.
Which this car does. The couple times I've driven it, just blows the tires off.
Tires off, yeah. There's a lot of power. for sharing this car with us.
Yeah, appreciate it. And looking forward to giving you a ride tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Looking forward just to seeing it out on the track and seeing what it does.
It'll be way more fun if you're in the passenger seat.
We'll make that happen. So
after you go for one run, you're gonna be like. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Hi.
Yeah, that's a wrap. It's the Hoonigan exit.